Coming up on today's show, Baltimore has a huge advantage over the New York Giants. I'll dive into that for you, outline it, and then on the back half of the show, we're going to do a little bit of Ravens injury report. Looks like things are going well on the injury front following the bye week and heading into the final 4 games of the season, and then ultimately the playoffs. Thanks so much for tuning in and clicking on today's video. I am your host, Joey Petersen, and if you like following me on YouTube, I promise you're going to like following me on Twitter even more. You can find me at Joey Petersen8. Right now, I'm sitting at 676 followers. My goal is to get 700. I know it's a big one, little incentive. You follow me, I'll follow you back. There's not a place you'll find the Ravens better covered than right here on Ravens Rundown on YouTube. Also find me on Twitter at Joey Petersen8. So let's get into this huge advantage. This one's coming from Jordan Renan, covers the New York Giants. He tweeted this out. Just watch the Giants struggle badly at practice during a red zone drill in the cold and heavy winds, 32 miles an hour. All 17 passes went incomplete. All 17 passes, 0 for 17. That's what that means. Weather expected to be around 40 degrees with winds up to 11 miles an hour on Sunday. So the big advantage, no, it's not that their quarterbacks suck, and it's not that the fact that they went 0 for 17, well, I mean, that is a great advantage if you don't have a quarterback that can literally not complete a pass. But it is the fact that those winds were so high today, looking to be windy and cold on Sunday, and because of that, I think this team needs to run the football all game long. I think when you look at how Derrick Henry compares to the entire New York Giants defense, there's no doubt what this team's game plan should do, and the cold weather makes that even more obvious. The Giants defense ranks 29th in yards per game, 30th in yards per carry, 30th in 10-plus rushes allowed, 26th in yards before contact per attempt, and 26 in yards after contact per attempt. Derrick Henry, just himself, not even the Baltimore Ravens rushing offense, ranks second, third, or fifth in every single one of those categories. So, with the weather being how it is, and the way these two teams just match up in general, and the fact that they are not completing a single pass within the red zone, that just tells me you got to run the football. And when you run the football against this team, advantage Baltimore Ravens. I have got a little bit of an over-under for you, okay? Let's go to Vegas. Let's take the odds. 23.5 carries for Derrick Henry against the Giants. You going over or under? If you're going over, give me an O in the comment section down below. If you're going under, give me a U. This will be the pinned comment on today's video. You might get hit with a YouTube ad break when that time comes. Take advantage of it. Scroll down the comment section and give me over or under. The last 4 games that Derrick Henry's played, they've been good. Not really what we came to, get used to from him in this season. 19 carries for 82 against Philly, no touchdowns. 24 for 140, balled out against Los Angeles Chargers, also no touchdowns. But then 2 games in a row with 65 and 68 yards, 13 and 16 in those respective games, touchdown each as well. And so this 4-game stretch has not been the most dominant in his career, not even the most dominant in this season. But the good news is that Derrick Henry himself is dominant in the month of December, okay? When you see what he has done in his career in this month, it's going to blow your mind because he's had 545 carries, 2,769 total yards, 5.1 yards per carry, which is the most of any month for him, and 30 touchdowns, which is also the most of any month in his career. And we're getting in December right now. And this is why I think that he'll dominate. Because he's only had more than 20 carries twice since week 16. And we're about to enter into week 15. So they've kind of lightened the load on this back half of the season, if you will. And also, he's only played in 55% of the Ravens snaps. So for a guy who has as many yards and as many carries and as many touchdowns as Derrick Henry does, you'd expect that snap count to be a little bit higher. And the fact that it's not is massive for Baltimore because these next 4 games going into the playoffs, it's the most important stretch, and it's when you need a guy like him the most, okay? Coming up on today's show, we're going to hear a little bit from Ravens running back coach Willie Taggart. He'll have some awesome things to say about Derrick Henry and this month of December. But before we get into any of that, if you want to watch this game this upcoming weekend against the New York Giants and make the trip over to the Big Apple, I suggest you use Game Time to get your tickets. The best place and the lowest price is guaranteed. It's the only place that I go when I'm trying to get tickets to any college football or NFL game. Game Time has a new feature. It's called Game Time Picks. That makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats. You don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. The tool highlights the best deals, including great and amazing deals with the highest value seats at the time. For some events, Game Time Picks also identifies a super deal, which is the best seat value in the venue. I've talked about it already this week, but I'm going to keep talking about it. I use Game Time this week, guys. I'm not lying to you. The only ticketing app I have on my phone. I'm using it to go see my Tennessee Volunteers take on, hopefully, the Oregon Ducks in the Rose Bowl. Got to beat Ohio State in the first round. But I got my tickets using Game Time. You should do so as well. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code ChatSports for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? It is game time. So now, let's hear a little bit from Willie Taggart on what he had to say about Derrick Henry and how this rest of the season he expects to shape up for the King. He said Derrick hasn't had a lot of carries, a lot of wear and tear on him this year. So I think it's set up perfectly for him to finish the year like he's capable of and what we expect out of him. Derrick is fresh right now, and that's great. I think the way he trains himself, the way he practices, he's going to be ready to finish the year like we need him to. And if you think about it, December football, when it's cold, when guys are physical, when defenses are tired and they're worn down at the end of the season, that kind of ball is built for Derrick Henry. It's especially built for a Derrick Henry that hasn't had as much wear and tear, carries, or damages on him as he's had in years past. So I think this is a big, big, big advantage, especially if it's windy, especially if this just turns into a game where you got to hand the ball off 50 times. I think that's a good thing for Baltimore. And also on top of that, right, they're missing two of their top tacklers, or possibly missing two of their top tacklers. Today for New York, did not practice Bobby Okereke, or Okereke? That's all me. And then Rakeem Nunez-Roches. Bobby, 93 tackles, 6 tackles for loss. He's second on the team in tackles. Rakeem about 5th or 6th with 45 and a tackle for loss as well. Okay, you heard about their injury report. What about ours? This tweet coming from Jeff Zrabak today saying, didn't see outside linebacker Adisa Isaac and safety Sanusi Kane at practice today. Kane won't play Sunday. Isaac is a new addition to the injury report. Everyone else was on the field. And this is interesting because Isaac is kind of a guy it's kind of like Jeff said, he's a late addition. Sanusi, he hasn't been on all week. Deontay Johnson, he's suspended, hasn't been on all week. But Adisa Isaac, he's a new addition. Honestly, it's kind of frustrating because you haven't seen him a ton this season. You're kind of expecting a lot from him, the guy out of Penn State. But the fact that those are the only two guys in Sanusi Kane and an Adisa Isaac is awesome for this team, especially because this is their injury report right before they played the Philadelphia Eagles, okay? Travis Jones was on it. Sanusi Kane was on it. Charlie Kolar, Arthur Millette, Michael Pierce, Roquan Smith, TJ Tampa, Kyle Van Noy, Broderick Washington. Do you hear what I'm saying? Think of how many important names are on that list, okay? And I know a good bit of those guys played, but they were still dealing with a lot of injuries. They were still dealing with the wear and tear. And now they got this bye week. They got to rest, rejuvenate. And that's why I'm thinking about it. Guys, this bye week came at the perfect time because you're about to go into a very important stretch of this season. You're playing two really good opponents, two opponents you should beat in the New York Giants and the Cleveland Browns. And these next 4 games, guys, they're going to decide a lot down the home stretch, okay? These next 4 games are important when you look at playoff seeding, when you look at possibly winning the division. We're going to talk about that a little bit more tomorrow. But when I think about it and everything going on, like I talked about earlier with Derrick Henry, the fact that you're entering the best month of his career and the fact that he has less wear and tear, less carries than he usually does, and it seems that everybody's kind of starting to get healthy and gel together at the same time, it seems like this is the perfect time and the perfect equation for the Baltimore Ravens to make a run and make some noise in the playoffs, okay? You saw the last 4 games. I want you to predict the record for me in the comment section down below. Let me know what you're thinking. Thanks again, everybody, for tuning in. If you haven't subscribed already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Like the video, do all the things. You know what to do. I'll see you later today.